Alright, so this little video is related to um, here in Collin County, here in Plano, Texas. That's the location, and it's about bobcats. So I've lived here 30 some years and have watched by field cameras I've watched bobcats come in and out of this pretty good sized backyard. I got a big old grove of bamboo back here where they get to hide. And even though I've got two dogs, because if you got dogs, you're like, oh God, I got to worry about bobcats. And you do. Now, if they're big dogs, they'll chase the bobcats up the tree. And that's what's happened over 2 or 3 times. Literally, the bobcat's gone up the tree, and I'm like, oh shit, got to get the dogs in. But thank God that they didn't attack the dog. But if you have a small dog, you got to worry. So here's a couple clues. If you walk outside and you're wanting to make sure everything's fine, you got trees everywhere, take a listen to the squirrels. If you hear a squirrel up in a tree flipping his tail and getting mad, look around, because almost every time I've seen a squirrel getting mad and he's up in the tree, it's because of a bobcat hanging around at the base around the tree somewhere. And man, they can hide real well, so be very, really look a lot. And the other thing is, just for info, I've always worried about, like, with the mother, because I just had three babies in the backyard again. I don't know where the mom was, but she probably was watching me. So have I been attacked? No. And I've had multiple interactions. I mean, I've literally had to fix a fence, and the bobcat laid up there on top of the roof of a little workshop. He sat there and snoozed while watching me, but was very, very careful to make sure I didn't come too close to him, because he jumped one time and went on to the other yard. So they generally, from every time I've ever had an encounter with the bobcat, they're skittish. They don't want any part of you. They're probably not going to attack you. Your dog, if it's a 10-pound little doggy, they may. So you just got to be careful about that. But generally, the bobcats want to be left alone, and they'll scoot on out of your yard within a day. I've had them stay a couple days. They found a really nice spot back here in the bamboo to sleep at night, and it was a hole up underneath one of the metal sheds. The metal shed was about 2 feet high, and they got up underneath it, and it was like a nice little place for them to sleep. And I had to board that back up, but getting the guy out of there, he was big, and he was not happy when I squirted water all around. I was like, had to go put the dogs up and make sure that I was ready to defend myself if the bobcat came after me. It's pretty scary. But he decided to jump the damn fence and move on. But man, they're fast, and man, are they stealth. They are extremely hard to find in foliage. But watch the squirrels. They'll let you know if there's one around. Now that's in the daytime. At nighttime, if you're walking around in the yard, I'm all the time moving a sprinkler around or fixing stuff late at nighttime. I'm outdoors a lot. And so the bobcats, I've seen them sit. You can shine a flashlight around the yard, and if there's one there, it'll reflect off their eyes. That is, if they're looking at you. But generally, the bobcats they move on after a day in your backyard. But if you're active in your backyard, they'll move on, because there's a lot of homes around here that have backyards where the people are 50, 60, 70, and they don't go in their backyard a lot, and that they'll stay in those yards, because just up the street from me are several houses that have had bobcats, and then they come back to have the kittens, and it's all cool and everything because they don't got dogs. But then the bobcat comes into my yard, and I'm like, oh shit. But everything's been cool. But man, let me tell you, be careful, because some of these bobcats are huge. I mean, they'll take on a Sugar and Charlie. So far they haven't, but man, I always worry about that. These are two 40-pound Shelties, and there's old Charlie. He thinks he